Welcome to my YouTube channel. Welcome to my Think It, Get It podcast. Today, I've headlined this, You Are Made for More. And I wanted to come on today because I have been thinking so deeply about humans. I've been thinking so deeply about the shifts and the changes that I have seen in my clients, in my memberships, in my programs, across the board. The incredible messages that I've got from people from across the world about my books, even my podcasts. And it really got me to thinking about how so many incredible humans on this planet still do not believe that they can create more in their life. Do not believe that their dreams are possible for them. Do not believe that if they have a desire, that desire is meant for them. So I wanted to come on today and just do a gentle reminder for everybody that is perhaps feeling stuck, feeling a bit lost, feeling a bit overwhelmed, feeling like life is like Groundhog Day, looking at other people thinking, why they got their stuff together and I haven't. Perhaps you just keep thinking, oh, I've got this thing that I want to do, maybe next year, maybe next week, next month, next year. And this consistent like next. And I wanted just to jump on and really just remind you guys that you are a goddamn miracle. That the likelihood of you being the exact version of you right here today is 1 in 300 trillion. Just let that land. And that you were not made, created, and put on this planet as an accident. That every single one of us has within us imprinted a unique blueprint. So imagine like you've got, like microchips that go into pets. They go like underneath their skin. And it's like got all the data of like name of the pet, where's it's from, who's its mum and dad, all of that jazz. So if the pet decides to go wandering and you lose it or whatever, you can track it, but also you can identify if that dog or animal is yours. Well, each and every single one of us, when we're born, we get installed with a universal microchip. And that contains all of the data of our fullest freaking potential. It includes all the data of what is possible for us, all of the desires, all of the things that are unique to who we are and how we can create the most amount of abundance in our life. And so we've got this microchip of data, ready to be activated, ready to be ready to be understood what the coding is inside of it. But most of us go through life operating not through the data that is meant for us, through our soul's purpose, through our unique blueprint. We operate through life based on this conditioning, the programming, the soft wiring that was put into us as children. So imagine the microchip is like the hard wiring. That is like who we fucking are at our core. Who we are at a soul level. But what happens is that software gets put into us and it's like overrides it, and we start to create a life based on that. So I like to call these our subconscious scripts, our subconscious stories. So growing up as children, we see, hear, and experience a plethora of things, I can never say that word, plethora of things that seep into our mind and therefore create that programming through which we then automatically respond to it in our lives. So for example, things happen as a child that goes into our subconscious mind. We then create habits based on that. It creates our automated ways of behaving, our ways of thinking, our values, our attitudes, our habits. And then we believe like, this is who I am. This is who I'm going to be for the rest of my And the reality is that neuroplasticity has already shown us that that is not the case. And I want you to know that this self that has been created with all of the programming of our human life is not the self that is powerful beyond comparison. It is not the self that is plugged into the universal intelligence that's able to create the life that you want. Because you have a unique blueprint. You have within you, locked within you, the potential to create anything that you desire. Let that land, right? Let that land. You would not be given a dream, a desire, if it was not possible for you to do it. Simple as. The universe is not a joker. Like, I don't lie in bed and go, oh, I dream of becoming an astrophysicist. That's because it's not in my unique blueprint. I did, however, dream of being an author ever since I was a child. And now my book is in 10 languages and sold over 100,000 copies across the world. There was one point in my life where I was sat in my car before I'd even started my coaching business, a month before I'd even began building my coaching business. And I sat in my car and I listened to Elizabeth Gilbert talking about getting a book deal, and every single hair on my body stood up. I felt this spiritual electricity going through me. And I was like, I'm going to be an author. And I dreamt about it ever since I was a child, writing books. I would sit and write. But it was this visceral knowingness in my body, and I didn't know the how. I didn't know when. I just was like, whoa, this is part of what I'm meant to do. I didn't know it to that degree back then, because that was 2016 and it's 2023, and I've evolved so deeply as a human that I could recognize and see, and in hindsight see that. But at that moment I was like, what is happening to me? My higher self was communicating to me, you are made for more. In the same way that I knew I was to become a coach, and I knew that I was meant to help people across the globe, and I knew I was meant to do this bigger thing with my life than what I had been previously doing. And so if you're feeling stuck, if you're feeling overwhelmed, if you're feeling lost, if you're feeling like, oh, I've got the short straw in life, if you're feeling like, is this really it? I need you to know, from my heart to yours, you are made for more. If you feel in your heart you are meant for more, that is because you are meant for more. Perhaps you're not sure what that more looks like. Perhaps you do know what that more looks like, but you don't know how to get there. Perhaps you're just like, I don't know, I just want something different. Is this really what life has to offer? I feel like there's more. Don't let that feeling be something you put on a shelf and forget about, right? Because I know from first-hand experience, not only from my own life, but the life of tens of thousands of people that I've had the pleasure of doing videos for, podcasts for. You know, my podcast has almost got to 1 million freaking downloads. Do you know what? When I first started that podcast in 2019, I was like, you know what? If a few people like to tune in every week and listen to me talk, that would be great. You know, if I can help more people in that way, that would be lovely. Almost 1 million downloads, just mind-blowing. You know, I wanted to write a book just so I could help people, you know, if I could just impart a bit of wisdom, a bit of motivation, a bit of support, if something that I could share would help someone change the trajectory of their life, let me write this book. Over 100,000 copies, 10 languages, Sunday Times bestseller. I have to let you guys know that at one point I was on my floor, on my knees, anxiety coursing through my bodies. I was crying. I felt my life was falling around behind me. I didn't understand what was wrong with me. Why was my life so difficult? Why didn't I have it figured out? What was going on? That was my reality at one point. So to go from that to the world I am in now, I can tell you that you are made for more. And please do not underestimate your own power. Do not underestimate your own ability. Do not underestimate the fact that you have a unique blueprint. And yes, it can feel overwhelming and confusing. How do I tap into that? How do I get to that space where I know what that is. And I want you to say to you that there is processes. You know, the first step is to really understand what your vision is for your life. And there's a process to that. Then you need to get your subconscious beliefs, your subconscious identity, your stories that are in your mind in alignment with what you want to create. And then you take this in action, inspired, elevated action, growth to create your better life. And you've got to meet the universe halfway, right? You're not going to stay at home eating Oreos, watching Netflix and thinking, oh, my life is never going to change. Well, it won't. It will not change. But for me, going on this journey of self-development, personal development, has been the most exciting, rewarding experience of my life. And when I see what my life is like now, when I see the movie of my life, because the new scripts that I have embedded in me, I could cry with gratitude. In fact, I do often cry with gratitude. In fact, I feel like my eyes are welling up right now and I don't want to cry. Because I cannot bear the thought of people suffering when there are ways to stop it. I cannot bear the thought of someone feeling as lost as I was, as confused as I was, as sad as I was. And there are people, by the way, like, that are going through things 10 times worse than me. And if I can just be the one slither of hope, if I can just be the one, if just even one thing I say helps you to recognize that you are a powerful being, that you are not a product of your life, that you can be the creator, that you have the power to rewrite the future, then I want to be that person for you. And I won't be for everybody. I can tell you now, I will not be everyone's cup of tea. I've got the heart of a hippie, the mouth of a sailor. I am not this polished person. You know, I'm not like that. Because I don't believe, whilst personal development for me is the most serious work that we'll ever do in our life, I believe it should be fun. I believe it should be relatable. I believe that it should be palatable, digestible, and accessible for everybody. It's not this stuffy thing. I think every single person on this planet should be in some way engaging in self-development. Because for me, it's changed my life. I've seen the lives of thousands of my clients change. And I just know that it all starts with this one belief that you are made for more. That you are not an accident. That you have the ability to create your life. That you have the tools, the mental faculties to do so. But it won't happen unless you decide it's going to happen. It won't happen unless you make a choice for it to happen. It won't happen unless you say, enough is enough. There is a dream in my heart that is clearly meant for me, and I'm going to make it my life's work to create that life. And that is the journey of the JFDIers, because they're ready to just effing do it. They're ready to stop playing small. They're ready to start transforming their life. They're ready to master their mindset. They're ready to become master manifestors. And when I talk about manifestation, I simply mean the physical realization of something that was once a heart's desire. Something that was once a thought in your mind that you truly desire. And so this is my morning preach to all of you gorgeous humans that follow me on the interweb. And if you feel that there's somebody that needs to listen to this message today, if you feel like there's someone that just needs to listen to this, there's somebody that's struggling, somebody that's, share this video, tag them in the video, let them know, share the podcast episode with them. Because I'm on a mission. I'm on a mission to touch even more lives, to help even more people, to help make people realize that they do not have to settle for the life that they are in right now. That there is always a way. There is always an opportunity for some growth, for some shifts, for some breakthroughs, for crazy, impossible, magical things to fall out of the sky, and you think, how has this happened? And so on that note, I want to love you and leave you. And I really just hope that you felt the energy of this and you feel your heart that if you need a bit of motivation, inspiration, that this has given you something just to move towards that dream. Sit down today, right? Sit down today and be honest with yourself. Sit down today and write down what, if I had no faith and only fear, no, got that completely wrong. If I had no fear and only faith, what would my life look like? If I could just design my life, if I could rewrite the story of my life, if the movie of my life was different, and you tapped into your heart and you asked yourself honestly, what would be different? Write that down. And I actually remember years ago, I did this meditation, and I'm actually going to be, I'm creating a brand new free toolkit for everyone. It's called the Dream Builder Kit. And there's an incredible audio in it. And I remember the first time I did this audio for myself, 7 years ago, 7 years ago. And, I thought I was going to tap in and see all this like luxury in life. And I remember the only thing that I saw was 4 children. Like, I just remember seeing these 4 children and I was like, and I just knew in my heart. And, I've got 4 incredible children now because I knew that was what my more was. And all the rest of the stuff that I get to do, of course, but someone else's vision for their life and what's honest for them. I just wanted a vegetable patch, 4 children running around our own beautiful space, a house that we built. I've never really wanted for, and to travel the world. That's it, travel the world. I've never wanted for like things really, but just to travel the world, to make memories, to make this life count. So I want you to just take a moment after this video and just sit down with yourself. Make some time to honor your heart's desires. Make some time to just allow yourself to daydream like a child. And as though you're writing a list to Santa, with that unabashed, unfiltered, childlike approach, just write down everything that you want in your life. And allow yourself the luxury of just getting it out of here and putting it into the physical world. Because simply that act alone will start to shift the trajectory of your life. So with that said, thank you for joining me. Thank you for all the beautiful hearts and love. I'm so honoured and blessed and grateful that I get to be on this journey with you guys, that you love to tune in and listen to me. Service to anybody, share it. If you have anyone that you know needs to listen to it, tag them in it or on the podcast episode, whatever. And I will be back with you gorgeous humans very soon. Take care and goodbye.